Wassail Beautiful People. So, I've been working on more information for the Alchemy of Astrology deck. And I've been digging into, with the help of Cindy from Awakening to Spirit, how to divide each house. So house Aries, house Gemini, house Taurus, whichever house it is, and we're going to do all 12, looking at the energies of the magnum opus, which is the great work. So the idea behind it is, in your natal chart, for me, house Aries contains Saturn and Chiron. So I would look at this as being energies that are restrictive from Saturn and energies that wound from Chiron. And it will be different for everybody. And in many ways, it could be that it is your first house, or it could be your 8th house, or it could be that when you've worked it out, because on your birth chart things aren't necessarily whole sign houses, that you might have 2 signs following across your house 6 or whatever it is. But so it's there's a complication in how we look at this, and I'm trying to give you collective messages. So there's some part of the frequencies where you have to decide what works for you and what doesn't. But for the magnum opus, we're looking at how your birth chart contains sort of 4 energies within each house. So you have, first of all, we have the area which is called ego chaos. And ego chaos is the natural pull that your ego drives you into your darknesses, into your complications, into your pattern thinking, that bring about a kind of energy of despair to waken you up. And then the next part of the energy frequency is self-calm, the self, how you calm the ego by attaching yourself to the energies inside each zodiac house or sign, by looking at the different aspects of the ego and the self. The third part is to look at your subconscious wisdom. So this is your balance between the ego and the self, integrating both together to understand what is your dark and what is your light. And this is a subconscious wisdom because it's connected to your higher self. It's an energy written inside you that you have to seek to find the solutions to them. And then the fourth part is to be worldly wise. So the gifts that once you've found your subconscious wisdom and balanced yourself, what are the gifts that you bring to the world within the energy of that house or that zodiac sign? So we're looking at Aries, first of all. Let's do Neptune's bells. Gone all cloudy, but it's actually easier to see when there's a bit of cloud. Interesting, the first bell gave me the song Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, and with each, and then they were showing me the visual of the rain putting out your fire, and that's quite relevant for Aries energy in many ways. So, and the bells weakened. With each one, the bell became less sonorous and less established. So we're going to do 4 separate little readings, and this is why we're going to start with your ego chaos. The energy that pulls you into your dark places, the energy that in many ways can make you feel a victim. And I do feel that these key words that I'm going to read to you will upset some people and will trigger some people, but it's really important, if you can just keep to your self-calm, to listen to these things, because it's from within the shadows of the ego's darkness that we find the keys to our calmer self. So you are your own jailer, is what I'm hearing. You are your own jailer. So let's just have a look at the energies that I've discussed with Cindy and my friend Misha around the energies that work astrologically for Aries. So the ego chaos keywords to think about: Aries, house Aries, it doesn't have to be sun in Aries, is impatience, reckless, frank, ambitious, hot-headed, unfiltered, and irritable. These are the energies that are meant to rise within your field, within your energy, to show you your shadows. So we're going to take the alchemy of astrology deck, and I don't know how this will work. I've got no idea. That's what I love about having this new deck to explore. There will be a PDF, but I've got so much work to do, because on the back of each of these cards I'm going to be adding all of these keywords, all of these energies, so that when we're reading we can hold a card up and we can see on the back all the different possible connotations of frequency that might exist when it comes in alchemical formulas as the cards come out. So let's give them a rifle. And let's give them a shuffle to say, what does House Aries need to know about its ego chaos? It's gone down into the soil, but it's standing upright. It's the one that was on the bottom that I just showed you. It's universal seed, grid, anchor, and songlines. The earth. And I don't mean the element earth, I mean the body, the planet, earth. It's like earth is calling. Oh, I know why already. It's because the note C of Mars, and Mars is the ruler of Aries, is an energy that also balances the molecules. It's the energy in sound healing that works on all the molecules within your body, anything that is not your consciousness. And so it's talking about how the very frequency of Aries is earthing, but it's also fire. And so it's about not letting the energy of the earth suppress your fires. And that's the natural frequency that allows you to be impatient, reckless, frank, ambitious, hot-headed, unfiltered, and irritable. That's the drive. The earth itself is driving that frequency within you. Let me just get my sip of water and I'll give you the C. The note of Mars. Nope. So that's Mars grounding you. I feel like the shadows are coming across. You have Aries, you have your own card has come out. And this is a card of action, calcination, meaning the process in alchemy to burn something with fire. So it's burn, control, touch paper, Molotov cocktail, burnish, dehydrate, and it's also spirit fire. But the spirit fire part is definitely some kind of energy that's caught in your self-calm. So most of this is about that sort of energy of being very hot-headed within the physical world, bringing passions, bringing fires to things, but how these fires somehow are spiraling you out of control. And then we have Moon in Aquarius and water, and this is relating to how your ego chaos, your fire, your fury, your action, your drive, your ramming into things is all to do with this energy that was in this card of dehydrate. So your fires, when they're uncontrolled, are dehydrating you of all emotions and the world around you. It's drying out the emotional freedoms, and it is your Achilles heel, as the card says. So Moon in Aquarius is about emotional freedoms. You can't have emotional freedoms, Aries, if you've dried out all the emotions through your hot-headed fire. And it's about the emotional truths being burnt away, being like you've thrown your Molotov cocktail, you've lit it, it's gone up in flames. There's no emotional freedom because there's no emotion there. Your ego chaos brings you fire. And it's ending with Sagittarius. And it doesn't mean you have to look at house Sagittarius, but you could look to see what you have in Sagittarius, because it might be that your planets in Sagittarius, for me I don't have any, but it might be that for you there are clues in your planets in Sagittarius that will help you to identify how to mellow your fires, because this is the card of mellowing. It's also, in the alchemical process, it's ceration. And ceration is when you gently cook something but keep adding a drip after drip after drip till what is a rigid, stiff blockage becomes soft and waxen so that you can remove it. So it's about learning how to mellow your fires is what you're needing to look at. And it's to mollify, to soften, to waxen, to emotionally appease. So you've got to add those drips of emotions. You've got to allow the emotions to come in so that you can relax, because that's the energy that Sagittarius is beckoning to you in terms of your ego chaos, is to pacify yourself and to tone down. So then we need to look at your self-calm. What are the positive attributes that being an Aries brings? Fearlessness. That's a wonderful energy. Brave. You're brave. You just don't question it. You move in, question later. But that can be a wonderful, beautiful energy to ride with. You're also plain speakers, but this is different to being frank, which was in your ego case. Frank can hurt others. Plain speakers is done thoughtfully. You slow down your hot-headedness and you consider what are the best words to plain speak rather than to be frank and wounding. And then creativity. You have enormous creativity because you're the sap that rises. You're the new ideas. You're that energy of springtime that comes up. And then even-tempered. To be even-tempered is one of your self-calming, when you've got a hook on this ego chaos of the hot-headedness. So let's add some cards. Self-calm, please, for Aries. Can we please understand the self-calm of Aries? A lot of cards. Oh, a lot of cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Aries. Making it tricky on me. So it begins with Pisces. Now Pisces is to be empowered. It's projection. So your self-calm empowers you. It empowers you to be unblocked. It empowers you to move forwards. And it's about projection. And projection in the alchemical process is to know yourself enough to be in control of the energy of your Philosopher's Stone. And the Philosopher's Stone is the category of your gifts that you can offer others. So this is talking about your ability to bewitch others and yourself with your truth. It's kind of dazzling. And you've got Aquarius, amplify, and multiplication. So in the alchemical process, multiplication is the frequency where you understand yourself and you enhance, you amplify, you boost your prime materials, your molecules, your consciousness, how your consciousness locks into those molecules, and how it's like spiritual aether. So when we looked earlier at the fires that you bring to burnish things back, this calcination process that's your natural state, you need to be more Pisces and Aquarius. You need to understand how to use spiritual aether. So to burnish something with wise words, with wisdom. And this is about being ready. It's like you have to override impulse. You're always ready, but you're being more calculated about it. And then you have aqua regia. And this is to dissolve gold. This is about transforming authority. It's aether light, but it's when you're in your self-calm, the energy that comes from you naturally in your beacon of light is this ability to erode what shouldn't be there. And part of what you're eroding is the fuel and the fire and the impulsiveness of your ego. So yourself becomes something. When something dissolves gold, it's like the gold is your ego chaos, because it's part of you. It's part of what defines you. It makes you who you are to have those frequencies, and it's what defines your early life. But also, if you can dissolve the gold from the pieces of gold that are left, that's when you can build the key to unlock your gifts. And when you're in your self-calm, you have Moon in Leo, explosive creativity. It's like the flow of blood will be more natural within you. It will pulse differently. It will feel like the aether light has cleansed your frequency and given you inspiration, brought this creativity, because this action, if digested as creativity through the self rather than the ego, it just brings something so splendid to you. And then you have Ophiuchus, the snake bearer. This is how you get your cosmic gift, your opportunity to shift into a brand new frequency, because this is the 13th sign of the zodiac. We use 12, and this 13th sign for me, Ophiuchus, is the snake bearer. It's an energy that can come to you at any moment, and it's offering you a kind of amplification of your consciousness. And that's followed, and I want to say it's called the galactic thread of divine consciousness. So it's a gift that comes in, a bolt from the blue, but it only comes when you seek the calm of yourself, your truth, rather than your ego chaos. And we have Hygeia. It's almost like that peptic ulcer that you get because you get so frustrated and fiery and you know, fueled like a Molotov cocktail going off. This is like replacing the petrol in the bottle, your vessel, and filling it with, you know, wonderful nutritional, some beautiful juice drink that will help you to combine your consciousness more effectively with your body. And it ends with Uranus, crown consciousness. So you're moving into unlocking your crown. Your hot-headedness is the thing that's stopping your higher truth from reaching you. So it's bringing that calm to the self. Now, what is that subconscious wisdom that can reach down to you once Ophiuchus and Uranus, Gaia, are connected together? It's to be committed. Aries as a house is a very committed house. It's action, it's the molecules. So it brings a sense of being committed. It also heightens your passionate nature, your ability to infuse with new ideas. It's also about your honesty. So no longer frank, no longer plain speaking, but just honest. Honest because honest is your truth. And it also enhances your trustworthiness. You become seen as less sort of like fuel to a fire, and you become someone that people can put their trust in because you're reaching your wisdom, your subconscious balance. And you also, as the, you know, as this energy of first fire, you are the most optimistic. You can bring an optimism with an awe that no other sign can quite understand. So, what's the message on your subconscious wisdom then, please? Okay, so the first card out is your subconscious wisdom is trine. It's to be in harmony, to be at ease, and to finally be natural, not to be that touch paper waiting to spark off. And this is card 45. It's a divine frequency. And we have embers. You know, rake over the embers. That's the whole point of this card. This is another 9. It's 9-0. So you're looking at this energy of being in your divine frequency. It's not ended. It's just paused while you rake over the embers to find the truth of the gifts that are hidden underneath that soot. You're raking over the embers to find the gifts that you're going to bring to the world now that you've reached your inner balance. And so, what do we have here? This is interesting because we've got 2 cards that have got an additional element to them, and I don't know yet whether they matter. I've just added to them houses. So you've got house 12 and house 3. So house 3 is about thoughts. You need to graft, create, form, and align your thoughts to your gifts that you can bring to the world. And then this is house 12, which is the spiritual house in many ways. So this is about self-actualization and liberation of the soul from material obsessions. That's part of this frequency that you're coming to. And then you have solve 81. That's another 9. and you have the Monas Hieroglyphica. So you're trying to solve your true inner. This is the card of John Dee, and it's great sage equal to heaven. You're trying to connect and solve how to hook on, how to align yourself with your spirit, as in your higher self, that frequency. Actually, they were that way. But you can almost see here that this hook can so easily hook onto this and make this one energy to pull, to join together, to create your true spiritual value. And it's awakening. It's to resolve. It's to realize how sage you are. Something about that notion of how we often talk about Aries as being the babies of the family, of the zodiac. This is about moving past that unfair assertion that you're somehow the babies. No, you're the first thoughts. You're the energy that comes at the beginning. Without your energy, nothing else moves forwards. You begin everything. And that's not childish. It's a divine spark. So, what are the gifts that you bring to the world? So once you've connected and balanced yourself, you become... I'm having trouble reading it because the sun's in the way. You become the resolvers. You resolve issues. You become the energizers. You energize other people. You become the planners. You're the people that can plan because you're the first thoughts. You bring this gift to others, and you're the igniters. You ignite that Molotov cocktail, that touch paper that was always part of your ego chaos is such an important gift when it's properly balanced. So let's just add a little reading on that there. So can we please understand the gifts? The Aries, House Aries gifts. House Aries gifts. Amalgamation, House 7 partnerships. Your gift is to draw people together, to build up confidence, to build passions in people. And you have Sappho, and this is wordsmith, sensual expression. There's something in this frequency that the gift you inspire in others is that energy of passion. You resolve the doubts in others and you draw them together. You're almost standing at the top of a staircase now and you're putting out your hand to help others mount the steps to come to their own higher understandings. You're igniting within people sensual expression. It's about communicating passion. I feel like I just need, and it's bringing that passion into the physical world, because your Mars energy is the molecules. So we're ending with two cards. We have Virgo. So the gift you bring is to refine others. And I don't mean you go out there and you batter people down with words. It's about your very essence brings a refinement, a distillation, a concentration of passions coming in. You're condensing them. You're helping them to organize, to rarefy their own emotional experiences. But that's the key. We're bringing in, you're balancing your emotions that you dehydrated in others, because you know what it's like to be struggling to keep emotions within your fires. And then you end with 47, South Node, the incarnation you came from. It's almost like your very gift and being to others is to lead them from their own ego chaos, from the energy of their previous incarnations, to help people out of their malaise, to lift energy, to ignite passion, and to ignite life force back into others. That's your gift, or one of them. But so have a look at these energies, see how they relate to you, see which planets you have in house Aries, and I shall be back shortly with Taurus. Wassail.